see no sutures or any other means by which the separate parts could have been connected. Among the layers of meat, you can discern large knots of muscle, various limbs, exposed bones, parts of faces, and entire heads. Only warp sorcery is capable of creating such an abomination while preserving its ability to live on. What is this? Heinrich takes in his surroundings and once again fixes his attention on the contents of the nearest cage. I'm beginning to have some idea. The Lex Mechanic.
Look at me, I'm so curvy!
The Lex Mechanic mentioned the inhabitants of the lower levels who had been imprisoned in their homes. He had said some of them were brought here. The cultists did something to those poor people in their own home, and now they are studying the results. Have you ever seen anything like this before? I have seen a great deal, Rogue Trader, that includes mutations caused by the sorcery of chaos, but what frightens me most is not their repulsive form, but what is hiding beneath it. Heinrich frowns, a human soul in torment. Chaos never forgets to ensure its victims retain the ability to suffer. The Lex Mechanic talked about some kind of slag waste disposal and chaos symbols on machines. What are the archenemy's minions doing to the people of the lower levels? To know the workings of dark sorcery means allowing corruption into oneself, Heinrich scowls. These are warp mutations, no doubt. Perhaps there was some side effect, and that is why they were brought here, to be connected to censors and cogitators. Even fallen tech priests who have rejected the Omnissiah are driven by a perverted hunger for knowledge. Why are they hooked up to the cogitators? Heinrich carefully studies the screens of the computing machines. Lingua Technis, corrupted by the scrap code, I'm sure. It's unlikely we will be able to extract anything of value from their data crypts. Thinking, Heinrich clutches his fist and bites down on a knuckle, and then recoils when the mutant from the nearest cage reaches a hand out to him through the bars. You. A female face watches you from within the gloom of the cage. Even though half of her head has been turned into a mess of bones and lumpen growths, her single eye looks at you with a surprising amount of intelligence. You promised. You promised us. Her words are echoed by other voices in the depths of the cages. Heinrich leans towards the cage, but at sufficient distance to ensure that the mutant cannot reach him. Who are you talking to? What did they promise you? Who are they? You! You took us from the Inferno! You promised us a reward! You... Her face contorts with a grimace, and the creature's lips stick together like melted wax. I'll be damned. They can still speak. They remember the people who did this to them. Heinrich balls his fist in a powerless rage, then he frowns in thought. Perhaps a little biomancy will allow us to charge the fragments of knowledge out of them. Or it will trigger further changes. Not missing Pascal's sober interest in proceedings, which he is dutifully recording in a data slate, Abelard raises a brow. Esteemed Magos, these are your comrades, if I may ask. Do you feel any compassion for them? Or at the very least, regret? Regret for the losses that these poor people represent to the Adeptus Mechanicus? Negative. What I am currently observing is not my tech comrades, but merely their biologically functioning remains fashioned into a specimen of an unnatural perversion of technology. I am under no directives to feel any affinity for such specimens. Wow. What do you want to do? My psyker abilities allow me to affect the human body. Yeah, I know, I'm one too. It is one of the most effective tools to use against individuals who resist questioning. But if you're suggesting that I want to use it, I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself. The effect of warp energy will likely lead to an explosive reaction. I do not know the precise mechanism of this mutation. The result could be even more monstrous than its current state. I've been doing iconoclast choices up until now. I do want to get information from them, but I think we need to stick by the role we've set for ourselves. Heinrich, let it go. You are only prolonging their suffering. I am inclined to relieve their suffering. Every moment of existence in such a state is pure torture for the people locked in these sheaths. It seems to me your mind is already made up. These people need deliverance from their suffering. I think he's gonna zap it with lightning. Oh no, does the computer have a kill the blob button? Heinrich wavers for another moment and then leans over the cogitators. Each mutant has cables attached. I may not know the nature of these machines, but it isn't too difficult to increase the voltage. Ah, the switch here. Zap. You hear the crackle of electricity. The wires glow with blue sparks, and the creatures locked in the cages drop lifelessly to the floor. The sharp tang of burned meat hangs in the air. That's that then. But do you know what bothers me, Rogue Trader? The number of people here? There's too few. The lower levels of similar manufactorums are inhabited by millions. What happened to the rest of them? He shakes his head. I know I won't like the answer. Let's go. We still haven't done what we came here to do. Is this the same dialogue? Is it? Yeah, the headache dialogue.
There will be no peace in
the massive cogitator grows out of the metal bulkheads like a grotesque tumor. A hollow roar sounds from deep within the metal housing. Whatever spurred the computer into action, it has enough power to supply a small command center. As soon as your eyes fall upon the cogitator, you feel a tingling in your temples. Every nook, every component of the machine radiates a sense of wrongness, one that is difficult to explain but no less palpable for that. It is as though the construct itself defies the laws of physics and perspective. Heinrichs makes a warning gesture. His voice, ringing slightly with tension, is threaded with disquiet. Stop, Muck von Luck. That is a creation of the archenemy. Don't go near it. You have done enough for me in my mission. Don't put yourself at risk now. Dude, the music. As soon as Heinrichs takes another step toward the cogitator, it emits a deafening shriek like hundreds of metal needles driving into toughened glass, as though sensing the stranger. Wincing, Heinrichs approaches the control panel and bends down towards the screens. Despite the heat clogging the room, you feel an ice-cold breeze. Heinrichs is clearly using his psyker abilities to try to fend off the pernicious effects of the Chaos artifact. The Omnissiah's grace has not touched this object. This mechanism was not desecrated, but born flawed and unnatural. Iron most profane. Pascal unhurriedly produces a data slate. Initiating observation log. Let not fear stand on the path of knowledge. Keep your distance and wait. A minute passes, then another. You watch Heinrichs examine the cogitator. His eyes scan the screens, his hands darting from the reel to the lever, sometimes hovering uncertainly over the next switch, which immediately receives a coating of frost. At some point you hear his voice, almost a whisper, barely audible above the clanging, roaring machine. Sacrifices. More and more sacrifices, every minute. Heinrichs looks at you, his eyes darker now, appearing almost black in his white face. Hecatomb determians. The womb of this cursed machine is down on the lower levels. The auxiliary enumerator controls the system for delivering molten waste under the manufactorum's main building. This cogitator is fueled by the energy harnessed from thousands of people who are flowing beneath our feet as slag waste as we speak. Oh, they were melted down? But I cannot even imagine the reason for sacrificing all these people. It's inconceivable. Now we know why the Fabricator Sensor prized this monster so highly. The cursed tech priest and his associates created something that went beyond the limits of the Omnissiah's power. This machine is designed to process the myriad of possibilities using warp sorcery. It has almost finished its task. It predicts the future, Muck von Luck. Predicts the future? How is that even possible? Do not attempt to gain any insight into the essence of the machines corrupted by the archenemy. At least not if you value your soul. I've encountered the heretics of mechanical abominations before. To truly fathom their nature is to allow a particle of death into your heart. He is silent for a few moments. But the fruit they bear, no matter how abhorrent their instruments, the fruit they bear could be useful. Heinrich's clouded gaze suddenly clears and he glares at the cogitator. No, the cult's filthy ravings are not worth that. What we can extract from its storage drives will be enough. Iconoclast. We need to stop the cogitator for the sake of the people still alive down there. He vacillates for another second, then shakes his head as though clearing away mental fog. I almost succumb to the archenemy's old trick, the lure of the unattainable, the primary of all traps the Chaos sets for unwary souls. Heinrich's movements are exact and purposeful, unlike his earlier operation of the cogitator. One after another, the cogitator's screens begin to fade to black, and the roar coming from inside the machine quietens to a barely perceptible howl, in which you imagine you hear notes of dejection. Heinrichs bends over the keys and flinches as if from an electric shock. His head snaps back unnaturally. You see his lips moving. The cogitator lets out a roar that grows louder by the second. Screamer?
The Emperor is with us.
Yeah, that's a Screamer.
A wicked thought.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Oh, that's a lot more than one Screamer.
Just a minor setback.
Oh, it's your boy Zinch!
Emperor, deliver us.
This is a lot of damage. Mock another turn. Mock use regen on
Genius
Pascal.
at work.
And then you get a turn. You put this buff
If
on
I may.
Pascal. And buff yourself, and then blast the Screamer.
If you insist,
Which
Lord
gives him an
Captain.
attack of opportunity. I didn't realize that.
Isn't this a job
Move
for
away
the
from me.
serfs?
Abelard gets an attack of opportunity.
Let's see.
Buff everyone's resolve. Buff Cass's speed. Throw a heal on Pascal. Iron Arm on Abelard. Back against the wall. You don't need to be on the open. Pascal's turn. Free attack. Mechadendrite. Argenta's turn. Swap to the Bolter. Guaranteed hit. Thought so. It's gonna summon blue horrors. They're gonna split.
I'll do it.
I will not.
As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith with
Entrench. Hello, hello, hate it. Heinrichs, Wall of Rockreed to buff your nearby allies.
At your beck and
Defensive
call.
stance. And taunt. All
I will
of
do like
this. Muck's turn. Throw regeneration on Abelard.
Wicked thought.
Give an extra turn to
Hey Muck, is this game cool?
Cass. Hey, never. Dude, I am loving this game. Absolutely loving it. Let's see.
I'm not accustomed to
Heinrichs
being
that
ordered
buff?
around. If I may,
Blast the
I
Screamer.
am a navigator, not a servitor.
Let's see. Throw a heal on Argenta.
Wicked thought.
Also, never. Thank you for the resub. Welcome. Oh my god, Argenta just got hit with a huge hit. Oh! Dang it. What's happening right now?
Be
Alright,
careful
move away
not
from
to
that.
cross
It's
my
gonna
gaze.
attempt to AOO. Buff her to give her some temp HP.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Blast the Screamer. It's almost dead.
Me?
Give Muck another
If
turn.
you
Use that
insist,
to
Lord
give
Captain.
regen to Argenta. Try to make the enemies hit each other.
If I may,
It did attack an enemy, but it splashed us too. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that.
flesh is up, choking me. I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Alright, buff the resolve of all teammates.
But of course, Lord Captain.
Iron Arm on
won't object to
Pascal. Single circuit heal on Abelard. Speed buff on Pascal.
As the tactical imperative dictates, the scriptural prognosis is favorable
Ah, missed.
Doubt is... As the Emperor, you...
Ah, it's so close to death.
I'll do it.
At your beck and call. It
Trying
will
to
be
taunt
done.
as many of them as I can onto Abelard. Let's see. Regeneration on stealth. Give Argenta another tune. Shoot the Screamer. Got it. Buff. And... give cast bonus damage. Taunt is working, and he's getting some kills from his parries. Love it.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. That is foolishness.
I refuse.
Woo.
Faith without
Reload.
deeds.
Could do worse, but not by much.
As the Emperor commands, I act. You, my Emperor!
Ironodo, thank you for the resub. Welcome back.
If I may.
Touch of Anger doesn't work. Oh, there's one over there that's loose. I didn't see him. Buff everyone's resolve.
I won't object to it.
Ooh, I just noticed the warp is getting really high right now.
But of course.
Oh, I buffed Pascal, but it also knocked him down because of the warp. Dang it. So he's probably going to lose a turn. Yeah, he just got up, but he lost a turn from that.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment. I'll do it. Doubt is through.
Even soldiers don't fight like this.
Faith with it. As the Emperor commands, I act.
That was a scary start to a fight. The enemy appearing just all around us and hitting basically the whole party, but
Victory is imminent.
this is, we've absolutely stabilized at this point, which is great. Does Pascal... I don't think Pascal has regen right now. No, he does. Okay. Does she? Yeah. See, yeah. She has it passively. He doesn't.
Schemes.
Gives
within
Heinrich's regen.
schemes. Let's see.
I have read tomes of military tactics. Isn't this a job for...
Blast the Blue Horror.
What if?
Brace yourself.
That again.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. Try to die with grace, at least.
I'll do it. Doubt is for the weak. None can escape.
Oh my god, I killed that enemy, but the bullet pierced through and hit one of my teammates. I'm too strong.
If only that were possible. I'll
Finest
show
hour
you why
from her.
navigators are feared.
Faith, this is why I was chosen. As the Emperor, you, my Emperor. This is unacceptable. I'll do it.
I won't object to it. Naturally.
The undesired non-working functions.
Is he gonna split? Okay. That was a fun little fight. Heinrich stares at the smoldering ashes of the daemon and then looks at the destroyed cogitator. The furrow on his brow slowly smooths out. His face almost looks contented. The creation of chaos is no more. I hope the fabricator censor did not have time to pass on the secrets of this creature to his associates. And I hope that the survivors down in the lower levels can hold on until we liberate Kiava Gamma. You did the right thing. The people who survived this disaster will continue to serve the Imperium. Yes, if they have not been touched by corruption. I hope that when you just come to decide the fate of this world and its inhabitants, you consider the fact that these unfortunates also include those who have been touched by chaos. He's like, it wouldn't be bad if you just nuked the planet, just saying. Heinrich's eyes settle on you. I must thank you, Muck Von Luck. Without your help and cooperation, I doubt I would have ever reached the depths of Kiava Gamma and learned the truth behind my agent's dispatches and reports. I would never have ended up here, and I would have never had succeeded in hampering the cult's activities. Dare I hope, esteemed interrogator, that your keen interest in this Von Valancius world has been satisfied. Oh, apart from the fact that the world is still seized by the archenemy's corruption, its populace infected with heresy, and its once sacred machines and its manufactorum have been turned into weapons against humanity? Quite satisfied, yes. My business on Kiava Gamma is concluded. It is time to return to the mission that brought you to the industrial world. The only thing I'll ask of you is an audience when we return to the ship. He bows his head to signal that the conversation is over. Okay.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium.
Two people got new injuries from that. I'm gonna medkit them.
Let's patch you up.
My frail organics.
In this tapestry of a world,
My frail organics.
I am the rogue thread.
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treaties on Tactica Imperialis and weigh every step. Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day.
Gotta say, I'm really enjoying the officer class. The class whose whole thing is basically like give extra turns to the people who need it most in any given situation. It's like such a wild card. Hey, Chip. You know, a lot of people have redeemed pet shit. I need to catch up on that. That's the wrong button. That's not what you guys want to see. This is what you guys want to see. You know, one of a cat that we had in the past, it really liked it if it jumped into a chair that was like a spinny chair, and then we took the chair and we spun it as fast as we could, and then it would just stay in the chair while you did this, and then afterward it would jump down and it would be so dizzy that it would just the cat would just like start walking and just kind of like walk in circles. And Anna and I used to joke that it would have its blinker stuck on. We tried it with Chip once, but he was not into it, and we were like, alright. Hold on, checking off that we have pet the Chip. Also, hello, Rish.
They will see.
Wait.
Oh, yes. They all will see.
Oh, is that the whole level? Are we done? Okay. What do we do now? I wouldn't have used the medkits if I had known we were done. Maybe we're not done. Chaos Marine! If you're trying to scare me, it's working. Sharp pain pierces your head and the light dims in your eyes. You smell smoke and burning. You feel a wave of nausea. Your legs buckle and your knees hit the metal floor. In that same moment, the manufactorum surrounding you disappears in a whirlwind of mist, ash, and gray shadows. Struggling against the elements, you could barely raise your head to look. Your eyes sting and burn, but through the tears, you see it. A colossal silhouette rising above you. The roaring tempest is unable to shake the mighty figure. Try to get a better look. Uralon the Cruel. Your soul, tempered by the curse of sorcery, stands strong against the psychic onslaught, and you direct your gaze forward. I don't know enough about Warhammer to know if I should know this guy. Is this one of the ones that, from the Horus Heresy? Is this one of the Emperor's boys? You squint and wipe away the tears, and for the moment, your vision clears. Before you stands a mighty giant, clad in dark power armor lavishly adorned with bas-reliefs of snarling demonic silhouettes and punctured with prayer scrolls. 2 braziers are mounted behind his shoulders, burning with unnatural blue flames, and emitting thick black smoke that curls and twists upward like a funnel. Behind the giant, you catch a brief glimpse of a crumpled figure bound in chains. The warrior's inhuman eyes bore into you. I am the master of those who have been felled by your hand in the halls of the primordial truth. I am Erlon the Cruel. The souls of my followers returned to the font of power they served, crying out for me to cast my gaze toward this sacrilege. And what do I see? Yet another lackey of the Corpse Emperor. The giant's voice causes the storm raging around you to die down somewhat, as if the very sound of his voice is enough to make the whirlwind subside. You glance at the huge warrior and notice on his chest a blazing azure symbol. The shades of blue seem to glimmer and mingle together. Where are we? Where have you taken me? This is the bridge that connects our minds, created by the will of my slave, whose fate you should be envying. The Psyker is useful enough to me to be left alive. You, less so. What do you want with me? I want to look upon the one who has disrupted my flock's duties and my master's plans. That warrior from my legion, the Fabricator Censor, you think of their deaths as a triumph. However, it is but a minor hindrance on our path. There are other worlds that serve our goals, but there are other sources of plasteel and adamantine. Revel in your victory. It will change nothing. Nevertheless, the blood in your veins whispers to the spirits that you warrant a closer look. Yes, you are a descendant of the rogue traitor whose warrant Kunrad Voitvir sought to obtain. By defiling the relic and binding it to himself with the tethers of the Empyrean, he was meant to become my servant, a rogue traitor who would do the work of truth. But then you interfered. Could it be that you wish to gain the true God's favor instead? Do you wish to present the corpse's relic to me and serve the truth? Hear your very blood calling, begging you to submit to me. What would be the point of futile defiance? You waste your time trying to tempt me. It is not blood that defines a person's deeds, only their will does. And thus my will is thus. Be gone from my mind. His cruel expression twists in pain as he stares at you in rage and bafflement. Pitiful insect, you dare! A gust of wind sweeps Earl. Dude, I hung up the phone on him. Gust of wind sweeps Erlon's figure away without a trace. The mist around you begins to dissipate, revealing the dark halls of the Manufactorum and leaving behind an oppressive sense of powerlessness. Abelard looks over at you worriedly, then sighs in cantankerous relief. That was a close call. For the sake of Holy Terra, if I had lost a second rogue trader in such a paltry span of time, my only option would have been to shoot myself out of unending shame. I sensed the presence of another Psyker. Someone made contact with you mentally and then tried to harm you with sorcery. I did what I could. You at least appear unharmed. Do you remember what you saw? Lily says, hey, Mr. Muck, do you recommend this game or should I get Baldur's Gate? Hello, Lily. Okay, Lily, I am loving this game. I'm having a blast playing it. However, in terms of the world of classic RPG, Baldur's Gate 3 was a diamond in the rough, right? I absolutely recommend Baldur's Gate 3 if you're considering buying a classic RPG and you haven't played it yet. After that, if you're hungry for more wonderful stories, this is a great one also. Let's see. It was a Chaos Space Marine. One of the traitors to the Imperium. I don't think it was he who touched your mind. I wouldn't have had the strength to go up against a Psyker from the ranks of those monsters. He might have forced some mortal to do his bidding. Perhaps it was through the same hapless medium that he sensed the deaths of his henchmen. Heinrich looks away and frowns. Such indescribable power, to have reached out to your mind with such a distance. He said something about Theodora, and about how the blood in my veins will lead me to serve chaos. Sister Argenta, who has been watching all of this intently, grows pale and makes the sign of the Aquila to ward off evil. Heinrich stares at you, whether in surprise or anger, you do not know. Then he gives a curt nod. I see. We could theorize later, though I will say, Muck von Luck, that his words do not leave much room for interpretation. The manufactorum around you looks the same